Alright guys, so let's say you just came back from tire shop, you had some tires or wheels installed, and you saw the guys at tire shops use some impact gun but no torque wrench. And then a few weeks later you notice that your stud is broken. It's probably because they over torqued it and messed up your stud. So how do you remove a stud on an older car or pretty much anything with drum brakes? So we'll show you a little video. So first and first, make sure that check up your front wheels. If your car is rear wheel drive, front wheel drive, really doesn't matter. I mean, it's kind of same principle for anything. But if it is rear wheel drive, make sure that your parking brake is not on. Alright. Then we gotta get our jack. Jack this baby up. And once you jack it up, make sure that you always secure it with the jack stand. And by the way, if you don't have an impact gun, which we will be using, I suggest you using a braking bar to loosen your bolts. Sorry, not bolts, nuts. Alright, let's get this done. It's only 110 degrees outside, so should be done soon. Get those wheels off. And on the caprices, it could be sometimes a little bit more difficult than other cars because of this. There we go. Just drove the car, so the brakes are actually fairly hot and the lug nuts are fairly hot. Now we gotta play a little bit of Tetris and to get this off. I have to lift the car up a little bit more. Almost. So if you have one of the bubble cars, you might have to play with axle up and down a few times. I mean, it's not bad, but when you have wheels like that, kind of in an ass to get them off. So as you can see, brakes are huge. Here's our broken culprit. What we're gonna do, we're gonna gently hammer it a few times. And by gently, I mean gently, unless you're using that ball hammer. Okay, and if you drove a car just like I did, it might be a little bit warm. Okay, so once this is off, what I would suggest is, since you're here, inspect your brakes and clean them. Just since while you're here. Sweet. Should probably get some, so I don't mess up driveway too much. Some of my filthy, dirty rags. I mean, it is brake clean, so it should clean driveway, right? But because of all the crap that's in them, it's not gonna really clean it much. Alright, cool. Alright, so now we're gonna have to top this guy out. really they're good. Keep tapping until you get it out. So once you tap it out, you should have a nice little hole over here. If yours end up breaking like almost all the way to the flush axle mounting, what you could do is use a punch that's like similar size to beat it out. So then to install the new one, this is the part number for the caprice, by the way. You want to always make sure that you get in the same thread and everything, because sometimes when you buy parts online, they don't always fit like they should. And you always want to make sure that it's actually getting on good, that there is no play. Cool. To put it back in, kind of similar to what we did, but in reverse order. And if you guys wondering why do I have a red lug nut, it's because I'm actually out of all of the lug nuts for this thing, but I have a whole bunch of red ones that used to be used on this Camaro, this C5 Corvette wheels. What I did, I just sanded the top part so it's kind of shiny, because I figure once it's in there you won't be able to see it much. Alright, so while you have a stud here, put a couple washers on there and we're gonna tighten it in. Again, impact works well. If you don't have impact, you can do it by hand. And that's about how it's done. And make sure that it's sitting well, that there is not much gaps, that it's set all the way. I'm not sure if I can get there with the camera. Not so much. Alright, so it looks like we have about another millimeter or so to go. So we're gonna do it one more time. Looks like just a hair left. And we're flush. Now should be good. The reason why I like to use those is actually so the lug nut doesn't lock in that well, and you need a little bit of space between them when you impacting it. Alright, so lug stud back on. Now we just gotta put the rotor back on, or not rotor, sorry, the drum rotor, whatever it's called, this thing. Remember, tap it gently, don't go ape shit on it. And now the hard part is getting the wheel back in. That's like the hardest part out of this whole equation over here, because again, bubble cars with this cut over here are kind of pain in the ass to get wheels on and off if you have a fairly aggressive lip. Sorry if the lightning sucks here. I have lots of sun coming through right now. Oh. The worst part is playing Tetris. set it. I think I gotta lower this a little. There we go. Got him. You want to always hand thread the lug nuts before hitting them with impact. Sorry if my breathing is heavy. Right before this, just did the gym and now doing this. And like I was saying, it's over 100 degrees outside. And I never have enough room in the garage, so always have to deal with it outside. So I had to switch to a chrome socket. Instead of impact, it was scratching my wheels on the inside. So now I just gotta lower the vehicle and torque the wheels to specs. I believe the specs on this car is about 100 pounds, and usually pretty safe doing it at 100 pounds with most of the cars, unless it's like a Cadillac CTSV or some trucks. The CTSV takes 150 pounds torque. Boom. Make sure to, when you're lowering it, do it gently. By the way, if anybody wonders, I usually like to lift it by the pumpkin on the rear diff, because it's such a long car, even though it's body on frame car. Like once you use frame points, if they're somewhat far away, for example, your jack won't lift it high enough because there is tons of suspension travel in it. Right. So now we set our torque range 100 pounds and then torque it. Should be fairly close if it's a gun, but you never know. Boom. Boom. Alright, all done. I'm gonna check our fronts too while we're on it. Might as well, right? And that's it. You are all done. Now you have no missing lug nuts. A few people mentioned for me to get a couple of videos of Wagon. I'll show you guys. This is actually my daily driver. Literally drive it every day. It is slightly beat up. I mean, it has chips, paint, and stuff like that, but what do you expect for a 28-year-old car? Has a couple dings and dents, but works great. Legit sticker here. Wagon Mafia. Everything works. Just converted the AC, and that's so AC now works. Still had a few leaks with the AC. Pretty much replaced everything, compressor, hoses, stuff like that. So far it's been holding on pretty well. Next project is to replace door handle, which I already ordered, and I'll show you guys how to do it. This is the interior of this magnificence. The seats are down because my buddy actually borrowed the car to transport some plywood and some sheetrock, which fits there perfectly as long as you move seat forward. like a lot closer forward, like up to here, but he's a lot smaller than I am because I'm over 6'2" and he's like 5'5", so he actually was able to move the seat all the way forward, and then it perfectly fits and the tailgate closes. So pretty awesome.